In the vast, silent darkness of the North Atlantic, the ghost of the Titanic rests on the ocean floor, a monument to a century-old tragedy. It was this legendary shipwreck that lured a new generation of explorers, promising a rare glimpse into history. On June 18, 2023, a specialized submersible named the Titan, operated by the company OceanGate Expeditions, began its journey into these crushing depths. The mission was a unique form of high-stakes tourism, offering wealthy adventurers the chance to see the iconic vessel up close, a sight witnessed by only a handful of people in the entire history of humanity. For a substantial fee, passengers could become part of an exclusive club that had ventured 12,500 feet below the waves. Aboard the small five-person craft was a diverse group, each drawn to the abyss for their own reasons. At the controls was Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate and the visionary behind the Titan itself, a man driven by a passion for innovation and pushing the boundaries of exploration. He was joined by Paul-Henri Nargeolet, a celebrated French mariner and arguably the world's foremost expert on the Titanic wreck, having visited it dozens of times. The other passengers included Hamish Harding, a British billionaire and seasoned adventurer, Shahzada Dawood, a prominent Pakistani-British businessman, and his 19-year-old son, Suleiman, who was reportedly hesitant but went along to share the experience with his father. Their goal was straightforward: to descend for over 2 hours, spend a few hours surveying the haunting remains of the Titanic, and then make the slow ascent back to their support ship, the MV Polar Prince, waiting on the surface above. The Titan was a vessel unlike any other, built with a novel carbon fiber hull and operated, famously, with a modified video game controller. For those inside the cramped capsule, it was meant to be the adventure of a lifetime. They were not just tourists, they were designated as mission specialists, participating actively in a voyage to the bottom of the sea, a place more remote and hostile than outer space. The journey began like previous successful dives. The Titan was launched from its surface platform and began its slow, methodical descent into the crushing pressure of the deep ocean. Communication with the Polar Prince was maintained through a text-based messaging system, with pings sent back and forth to track the submersible's progress. Those on the surface monitored the dive, anticipating the moment the Titan would reach its destination and begin sending back images from the abyss. But as the submersible sank deeper into the unforgiving darkness, a chain of events was set in motion that would turn this quest for adventure into a global tragedy, sparking a desperate search and raising profound questions about the price of exploration. Approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes into its descent, the Titan's regular communications with the Polar Prince abruptly ceased. On the surface, concern likely grew with each passing minute of silence. In the deep ocean, where radio waves cannot travel, acoustic pings are a lifeline, confirming that all is well. When that lifeline went silent, the crew of the support vessel was left staring at a screen, hoping for a message that would never arrive. The last communication indicated the sub had dropped its ballast weights and was proceeding as planned. After that, there was only an unnerving, profound silence from the depths where the pressure is immense, a place where there is absolutely no margin for error. The loss of contact triggered a massive international search and rescue operation, a race against a terrifying clock. The submersible was equipped with a 96-hour supply of breathable air for its 5 occupants, a finite resource that captured the world's attention. For 4 agonizing days, a fleet of ships, advanced remote-operated vehicles, and aircraft scoured a vast expanse of the remote North Atlantic. The public watched with bated breath, hoping for a miracle. Reports of underwater banging noises, detected by sonar buoys, offered a fleeting glimmer of hope that the crew might be alive and signaling for help, trapped in their vessel on the cold, dark seabed. However, the grim reality of the environment made a rescue incredibly challenging. The Titanic wreck lies at a depth where the water pressure is nearly 400 times greater than at the surface. Only highly specialized equipment could withstand such forces, and getting that equipment to the remote site took precious time. As the 96-hour oxygen window began to close, the operation shifted from a rescue mission to a recovery effort. The hope that had buoyed the search effort began to fade, replaced by a somber acceptance that a catastrophic event had likely occurred, one that no human could have survived. On June 22, 2023, The search came to a tragic end. An ROV combing the seafloor discovered a debris field approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic. The wreckage included the Titan's tail cone and other key components, unmistakable evidence of a catastrophic failure. Investigators concluded that the submersible had suffered a catastrophic implosion, an instantaneous collapse caused by the immense external water pressure. The 5 souls aboard would have perished in a fraction of a millisecond, long before their brains could even process what was happening. The banging noises were later assessed to be unrelated, just another ghost sound in the vast, mysterious ocean. The investigation into the Titan disaster quickly revealed a disturbing history of ignored warnings and a corporate culture that prioritized innovation over established safety protocols. Long before its final fatal dive, experts both inside and outside OceanGate had raised serious alarms about the submersible's experimental design. Stockton Rush, the company's CEO, was a vocal critic of industry regulations, which he argued stifled progress and were too slow to adapt to new materials and technologies. Consequently, OceanGate made the deliberate choice not to have the Titan certified or classed by independent marine safety organizations, a standard practice for nearly every other deep-sea vessel in the world. This aversion to oversight was not a secret. In 2018, a letter signed by over 36 leaders in the submersible industry, including engineers, oceanographers, and explorers, was sent directly to Rush. It warned that OceanGate's experimental approach and its refusal to adhere to the industry's accepted safety framework could lead to catastrophic consequences. They urged him to submit the Titan to a rigorous third-party testing and certification process, but their pleas went unheeded. Rush believed his own internal testing was sufficient, and that a classification agency's stamp of approval was an unnecessary and expensive hurdle to his groundbreaking vision. The warnings also came from within OceanGate itself. David Lockridge, the company's former director of marine operations, filed a report in 2018 detailing grave safety concerns. He was particularly alarmed by the carbon fiber hull, a material not widely proven for crewed submersibles at such depths, and insisted on more extensive non-destructive testing to ensure its integrity. He also pointed out that the forward viewport, the passenger's only window to the deep, was only certified for a depth of 1,300 meters, less than a third of the depth required for a Titanic expedition. Lockridge was subsequently fired after raising these issues. Other experts who had traveled on the Titan also reported troubling signs. Carl Stanley, a submersible expert, took a dive in the Titan in 2019 and heard loud cracking noises emanating from the hull as it descended. He was so concerned that he wrote an email to Stockton Rush, warning him that the sounds indicated the hull was breaking down and that a catastrophic failure was inevitable. Despite this chorus of warnings from industry peers, a former employee, and even those who had experienced the vessel firsthand, OceanGate continued its operations, completing several dives to the Titanic in 2021 and 2022, perhaps creating a false sense of security that the experimental design was sound. The Titan tragedy is now widely seen as a preventable disaster, a textbook case of what can happen when ambition and a disregard for established safety norms converge in a high-risk environment. The incident served as a brutal reminder that the laws of physics are unforgiving and do not care about innovation or disruption. In the world of deep-sea exploration, rules and regulations are not bureaucratic red tape. They are written in the hard-won lessons from past failures. By operating in international waters, OceanGate was able to bypass many of the safety regulations that would have applied to a vessel operating closer to shore, creating a perilous loophole that the 5 occupants of the Titan ultimately fell through. The disaster has ignited a fierce and necessary debate about the future of extreme tourism and private exploration. For decades, deep-sea expeditions have been conducted by national scientific agencies and a small, tight-knit community of professionals who adhere to painstaking safety standards. The rise of private companies offering trips to the abyss to paying customers introduces new challenges. The key question now facing the industry is how to ensure safety without completely stifling the spirit of exploration. Many experts argue for stronger, internationally recognized regulations for all crewed submersibles, regardless of whether they are conducting scientific research or carrying tourists. Moving forward, the legacy of the Titan must be a renewed commitment to safety, transparency, and collaboration. This means embracing third-party certification, investing in rigorous testing of new materials like carbon fiber before they are used for human-occupied vessels, and fostering a culture where safety concerns from employees and experts are welcomed, not dismissed. The use of off-the-shelf components like a video game controller for steering isn't inherently bad, but it must be part of a system where every critical component, especially the life-supporting pressure hull, is tested and proven to be fail-safe for its intended environment. Ultimately, the ocean remains one of Earth's last great frontiers, and humanity's desire to explore it will not diminish. The lessons learned from the Titan implosion are crucial for ensuring that future explorers can venture into the deep safely. The tragedy should not mark the end of deep-sea adventure, but rather the beginning of a new era, one defined by a more profound respect for the immense power of the ocean and an unwavering dedication to the safety of those who dare to explore its mysterious depths. The 5 lives lost in June 2023 must serve as a permanent reminder of the high price of hubris and the non-negotiable importance of caution.